2 people watching from YouTube Live. Welcome, glad you're here. Going to run those 10 foundational postures. We're going to look at playing guitar, posture number 3 for Black Sash training. And then in Master's Path, we're going to primarily work on sequence, since this is the last week of this rotation. Run through sequence a few times and also continue to look at that closing move, because I know that's complicated. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody. Let's begin with some relaxed breathing. Place your feet comfortable distance apart, hands on the lower abdomen with your lips lightly sealed and teeth gently meshed together. Allow your eyes to close. And begin focusing on deep, relaxed breathing. As you breathe in, feel the abdomen go out. As you breathe out, feel it come back in. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out slowly. Be relaxed. With each breath, begin to imagine a cascade of relaxation flowing down the body from the top of your head all the way down to the bottoms of your feet. Allow your face and jaw to relax. Neck and shoulders relax. Chest and upper back relax. Shoulders and arms feel heavy. Stomach and lower back relax. Feel the flow of relaxation through your waist into your hips, through the thighs and backs of your legs. Allow your knees to soften. Feel your calf muscles relax. Your ankles relax. And the bottoms of your feet relax. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out slowly. Be relaxed. The next time that you breathe out, go ahead and open your eyes. Lower the hands. Let's go ahead and get started on that first foundational posture of embracing horse. You know the drill. Toes turned in slightly. Outside edges of those feet become parallel. Sink the knees, bend down, making sure to round those knees out so they don't collapse in. Don't over round them, just round them out so they're facing forward. Sit back behind you, get your tuck, circle the arms back and around. And try to get that sense of relaxed breathing. I know it takes a little bit to find this posture, but once you get there, try not to fidget. Be very mindful with the adjustments that you make. and release. Straighten the legs, lower the hands, circle the arms up. Inhale. Press those palms down to exhale. Let's go into posture number 2, ride the wild horse. Start in that middle stance. You remember, we've been doing these for about 7 weeks now, 6 or 7 weeks, so you can always go back to previous recordings if you'd like more detailed instruction or just some more information. So there are days where we kind of run through the sequence, and then there are days where we give a lot of instruction, but it's all recorded, so you can go back as needed. All right, so inhale, middle stance. Exhale. Inhale, slowly. Exhale. Repeat. Small stance. Begin. Repeat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Wide stance. Back to shoulder width. Begin. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Posture number 3, playing guitar. Always start with those, most always start with those feet shoulder width apart. Turn that left toe out to a 60-degree angle. Shift the weight, keep the knee over the toe. Circle the arms back and around. Set the right heel down. And remember, after we go through the 10 postures, we're going to look at this posture in a little more detail. Shake it out if you need to. Other side, turn those right toes out to a wide angle, about 60 degrees. Same thing, shift, circle the arms back and around, set the left heel forward. And release. Shake it out. I don't anticipate this happening, but we are having a thunderstorm right now. In the 10 or 11 years I've been here, we've lost power maybe once. I don't anticipate it, but if things go dark, that's what it is. All right, and lots of lightning right now. Okay, compass, number 4. Separate the feet shoulder width or a little bit wider. And remember, we've talked about, make sure you keep your tuck throughout the movements, the rotation here. It's really key to doing this, to getting this movement correct. So lift up and to the left. And down over the left foot. And out. And down to the other side. And roll up. Lean back. Roll out of that till your back kind of resets, and then back up to the top. And other side. And down over the right leg. Reach out. And down over the left foot. And up and back. And roll out. And back up. And press the palms down. Good. Okay. Number 5, double dragons leap from C. Shoulder width apart. Left toes out, 45 degrees. Step forward into that walking lunge like you're about to push something heavy. And go back down for that stretch. And form a circle with the hands. And inhale. Up. Exhale. Down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And release. Switch sides. And go down for that stretch. And form a circle with the hands. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Continue. Last one. Exhale. And inhale. And release. Cat hair again. Okay. Number 6, rhinoceros gazes at the moon. Separate those feet shoulder width apart or a little wider. Get that embracing horse lower body feeling. Circle the arms around, left hand on top. And begin by extending and turning only from the waist and torso over to the left. Leave the hips and knees facing forward. And center, slowly. Other side. Center. Other side. Center. Other side. Center. And release. Good, shake it out if you need to. Like we say, every day is leg day in Tai Chi, so if you feel like your thighs are working, you are on the right track. If you don't feel like your thighs are working, sink lower. Okay, posture number 7, ride the tiger. And I know tuck is important on all of these, but this is another one that I've talked about it being extra important to keep it throughout, because otherwise you're just kind of doing a split type stretch versus a Neikang alignment exercise. So keep that tuck throughout, even if that means you can't go down quite as low, okay? And start with those feet together at a 45-degree angle and step out. Off. Other side. I can tell this is a tight hip day for me. And you will find in your practice too that some days your range of motion is very different than it is other days, and that's all totally normal. It's just part of the practice. So, you know, don't beat yourself up or be mad at your body if one day you seem like you can go farther than you could another day, and then another day it's like, well, I can't do this. That's okay. Just go to your body's range, push off, and just know that, you know, there's ebbs and flows and changes in your body on a day-to-day basis. I'm an instructor. I've done this for 10 years. I have good hip days and I have not so good hip days. Today, pretty tight. Okay, other side again. Super important with your practice to meet yourself where you are on any given day, whether that's mentally, physically. Tai Chi is about strength in yielding, not about gripping harder or willing yourself. It's by being yielding, you know, softening into things. And that comes with restrictions that your body might throw at you or curveballs. And push off. Other side. And step out. And push off. Okay. Number 8, Phoenix spreads wings. Toes kind of close together, but notice they're still pointing inward so that the outside edges of my feet are parallel. I'm crouching down, still rounding out those knees, got my tuck. And remember, start thinking about letting the body generate the arm movement, not just making circles with your arms. And begin up, back and around. And again, if you've got shoulder impingement issues, don't force the range of motion, just go within your body's limitations while keeping in mind, don't let your shoulders shrug up to your ears. Try to make your body generate the movement versus your shoulder muscles. Continue at this pace, or if you'd like to speed it up, you can do that. And relax. And other direction, so back, up, and around. And if you'd like to go faster, go ahead. If you'd like to keep going slow, that's fine too. Okay, number 9, hit the tiger. Okay, so remember, stepping mostly sideways, a little bit forward. You're going to stay as best you can, the weight on the standing leg, step, then shift, versus, right? It's kind of a tough distinction, but try as best you can. And remember, you're sitting back. You're not putting that weight into that leg. You're sitting back behind that leg, okay? Pick one. You don't have to think about all of those. And step out. And push off. Step out. Push off. Step out. And push off. Let's do one more. Out. And back. Other side. Go. And push off. Step out. Push off. 2 more. Push off. Good. Last one. And push off. Excellent. Number 10, owl turns head. Shoulder width apart. Embracing horse body. Hands on the hips. Head suspended. Sink those shoulders. Really let gravity pull them down. Get that chest concave idea. And rotate the head, making sure your chin doesn't stick out. So turn your head on that plumb pole axis. And other side, center first. Other side. Center. Other side. Center. And right side. Center. And release, straighten those legs, lower those hands, slowly circle the hands up to inhale. And slowly press those palms down to exhale. Remember, I think I've talked about how it's not just getting into the movements, but it's also those transitions between them. So, it's not slowly rotate here and then slowly rotate here, back to center. So all those transition points and all the moves, they matter as well. And also towards the end, give yourself that beat to slowly, and I see students all the time just like, all right, what's next? So take that moment to slowly and mindfully inhale and slowly and mindfully exhale and press those palms down. Don't rush those things. It's not just, oh good, I'm done. That's actually part of it. Okay, so with that, good job everybody. We're gonna bow out of our basic training. I'll be right back in a couple of minutes to talk about playing guitar in more detail. Hopefully give you some helpful tips. And then after that, we'll work on flute. So let's go ahead and bow out. We follow the 5 hearts: faith, respect, perseverance, patience, and humility. Now, each of you, thanks for being here. I will be right back. Hello, 6 people. Yay, more people are here. That's great. Okay, playing guitar. Obviously you hear us talk about there's rules, so to speak, for NACOM. There's your head suspended, chest concave, get your tucked, knees rounded. These are not in any particular order. Loose quad for your hip socket, your hip crease. Deep breathing, relaxed waist. These are all things that we need to be thinking about. But it's also a little bit like Goldilocks and the 3 bears. And I'm thinking of that in terms of playing guitar, because there's this one's too hot, this one's too cold, this one's just right. There's a little bit of that in particular with this posture in terms of how far forward does this foot go? How far wide does this foot go? How far back do I sit? How far forward do I lean? It's a very 3-dimensional posture. And you can't quite just copy your neighbor, because it's all going to vary depending on leg length, hip flexibility, height, all kinds of stuff. So it's not like you can just, oh, that's what head instructor Dirk is doing, I should do that. It may not be right for you. You might be taller, you might have some shorter legs, find that impossible, but you might. So I'm just going to get into playing guitar from the front, and I'm going to show you from both sides, not just the posture, but how I get into it, so you can kind of watch it. And remember, with these recordings right now, I'm trying to give you information. If you want to practice along, that's great, but you might get better mileage out of just listening to me, and then when I'm done, or press pause, practice it a little bit on your own. All right, so from the front, roll these up a bit so you can see my ankles. Sometimes that's helpful, at least it was for me when I was learning. All right. Okay, that feels about right for me. Hopefully you can see that this knee is rounded out. You can see I do have some weight on this heel, but I'm not leaning into it. I'm saying 90% of my weight is here, 10% is there. What I'd like for you to notice is, from this angle, I'm going to just put my foot down and slide it back to this foot. So see, I am narrower than shoulder width apart, okay? I'm not telling myself that, that's just, I've learned that's my balance point for this maneuver. What it would look like if I stayed at shoulder width, this does not feel good at all, nor does it feel stable, feel very rickety. It's not right. But see, if I pull this heel back, I'm basically at shoulder width apart. So you're going to start at shoulder width apart, But when you reset this foot, you're not going to be exactly at shoulder width apart. And the reason for that is my hips aren't square. My hips are sort of at an angle, which is going to affect where this foot goes. I know this is super analytical, but I'm hoping that this will help explain, because I get questions like, well, why isn't it shoulder width? Isn't it always shoulder width? Well, sort of, but look at where my hips are, right? Okay, so because my hips aren't totally square, because look what happens to my knee if I do that. It wants to create a curve in. It's kind of in between. All right, so that's one. I'm going to show you from the side too. I'm going to do the other side, so I'm not sure that's which one will be better, but let's see. All right, so here. Okay. So what I hope you can see is that my hips are still back. I'm not standing up out of this back leg, putting more weight here. I am sitting back. I feel all the work on the standing leg. This feels like support. My hips feel relaxed. They are, I'm not overturning them sideways, but I'm not making them be square. They're just sit naturally back in this position, and you'll probably get corrective alignment. Okay, so that addresses one thing, and that is how far apart are my feet, let's see this side, when I finish. So they're not in a straight line, but they're not quite shoulder width either. Okay, and that again has to do with where my hips are aligning. If my hips stayed square, they would be more shoulder width, but this isn't quite right. It's a little bit of an angle. The other question is, how far forward does it go? And again, that's just a Goldilocks, gonna have to figure it out. What you're going for is 90% of the weight on the standing leg, 10% of the weight on the front leg. If you go too far out, you're gonna end up with 20, 30, 40% of your weight in that front leg. And so you're just gonna have to learn by feeling. But you can help prevent that by sitting back in playing guitar. So what I mean by that is, if I keep my hips back here, this is natural because I've kept this leg still. I've bent my knee, I've put my weight, I've rooted into it, keep my hips still. This is as far out as that leg can go. If you hear us talking about the step test, it's a little bit like that here. I would have to come up out of that back leg to step farther. And now I'm not in playing guitar. The weight is now in the ball of my foot, it's out of my heel. I feel double weighted. You'll hear us talk about that sometimes, where instead of being stable, I'm super off balance. I mean, you can push me over from any direction. I think I mentioned it a couple classes ago, this is the defensive Tai Chi fighting posture. I mean, Tai Chi is never going to start a fight. There's no offensive moves in Tai Chi, but if some horrible person is trying to start something with you, this is technically the Tai Chi ready stance. And you want to be balanced in your ready stance. You wouldn't want to be super off kilter and wobbly, right? Okay, so start shoulder width, knees out and toes out. Then you're just going to have to find what's right for you, where that distance is for your posture, for your hips, how far out and how far wide or narrow. But the guiding principle there is that this leg, the standing leg, stays still. It stays, you bend, you root, you set that pelvis, and then it's a little bit, it takes some of the variable out of where that extra foot goes. This might sound super analytical, but hopefully it will help you, because these are the questions we get the most. How far out? How far wide? It depends, but here's the guideline. All right, practice that on your own a little bit. I'm going to get the book and see if CK Chu has anything else to add. Hopefully I haven't scrambled your brain too much. So just practice that along on either side. Come out of it, take breaks as needed, and I will read a little bit of story time. Here we go. From the neutral stance, step forward with the right foot, being particularly careful to place it at 60-degree angle to the front back axis of the body. Use relaxed, continuous deep breathing throughout this exercise. So yeah, while we get up in our heads, it's real easy to start making hard breathing or hold our breath. No, relax. Bend both knees and open the arms, bringing them from the back to the front as you bring your left foot forward. So it's a continuous movement. It's not here, here, and it's not here, here. The whole thing is, that will also help you navigate where to put your foot. Your balance should be maintained by your right leg. So again, that standing leg, this is where it's at. Upper torso and arms should form a smoothly rounded shape as the left foot comes to rest on its heel, with your right palm facing your left elbow, and the fingers should be slightly stretched and pointed upward. So what he's saying there is, a lot of times relaxation translates to floppy, and that's not Tai Chi relaxation. So I like to use the analogy of like plant leaves. They're not rigid and stiff, but they're not wilted. If they're like this, there's a problem with that plant. So think extending through the fingertips. They're not rigid or brittle or stiff, but there's life there. It's not floppy. So that's what he's talking about. You circle the arms back and around. You're extending through the fingertips, even though you're still relaxed. Does that make sense? Most of the weight of the body, about 90%, will be carried by the right leg, and it will be concentrated on the heel and outer edge of that right foot. So if you can't keep that weight in that heel and outside edge, you are probably stepping too far forward. So consider trying to pull that back. It's kind of one of the tip-offs that, oh, my weight's not, something's not right here. The pelvis should be kept tucked in, and hold this position for 1.5 to 3 minutes. If done correctly, stress will be felt on the outer portion of the thigh of the right leg. Caution, make sure that there is no stress felt on the knee, absolutely. If so, adjust the right knee so that it's over the toes of the right foot. The body weight should be concentrated on the heel and outer edge of the right foot, which is kept at a 60-degree angle to the front-back axis of the body. So again, don't let that knee come forward over that toe. Don't lock it out. Don't let it collapse in either. It's very like, you know, this becomes, like you hear say root, this feels like a tree trunk. I mean, it is rooted. This is not moving. Do not force this posture if it is too stressful. If you are tired, relax. Check your suspension, head suspended, and the tension will ease. Avoid fidgeting. Remember, we talked about that. Adjust the posture with calm, controlled movements. As with embracing horse, a feeling of vibration is a sign you are making progress with this exercise. So, there's a lot with this, right? IT students coming up towards Black Sash test, everybody obsesses about the 20-minute embracing horse stance. I'll tell you what's worse is a 3 to 5 minute playing guitar after you've done a 20-minute embracing horse stance. So do not neglect practicing this stance as you get closer to your test, if that's something that you're going to do, and we hope that you do. So let's just go through it a couple times together at your own pace, or you can follow me, and think about rooting through this leg and playing around with where you're placing the front foot to see if you are rooted and balanced and able to stay relaxed. Go to the other side. I'll show you what he means by head suspended. If I lose my head suspended, watch my body. It naturally sinks, and it makes this leg hurt more. My low back feels weird. And watch what happens when I put my head suspended back in. The whole posture shifts a little bit. You wouldn't think that just making sure your head suspended would have that kind of an impact on the whole body, but here you go. Yeah. There it is. And come out of it. That's another way of saying, if Tai Chi feels weird, first thing you can do that's fairly easy to do, check your head suspended. It's point number 1 for a reason. It's super important, and it will help everything. Okay, so hopefully that gave some good information. I had lots of requests for playing guitar. Hopefully I touched on, some of the things that were giving you questions. And we will bow out and we'll come back and look at flute. So let's do our life skill. Path of self-mastery requires a focused mind. A focused mind sees no obstacles. Path of self-mastery requires a focused mind. A focused mind sees no obstacles. Path of self-mastery requires a focused mind. A focused mind sees no obstacles. And with that, let's go ahead and bow out. Black sash training. Good job. Master's Path. We'll get started in just a second. Last week on this rotation. I don't know what we're going to do next rotation for Master's Path. We've put this in the last 2 rotations in various capacities, so I don't know if we'll stick with this or not. But remember, these are all recorded. So you've had the luxury and the really cool opportunity that for 6-8 weeks now, every single class has been recorded, so you can go back and practice on your own. So it's a great library, it's a great resource. So today, I want to run it through the whole thing twice. I then want to look at that last pass, just the high and low strikes into the close a couple of times. I didn't get any specific requests, so that's kind of my inclination of what to do. And then from there we'll see if we have time, and we'll keep running it sequence-wise. I will go some super slow, and I will do some not quite so super slow, not fast, but just to kind of start teasing it forward as to the pace that this form usually moves at. Don't get frustrated, hit pause, or just continue to go at your own pace, but at least for recording purposes, it's going to be a variety of practice paces. All right? Okay, so let's try it together. We'll run the whole thing together twice. And begin. getting it? Or is it still clear as mud? It's okay. Remember I said last time, master's path is about exposing you to material sooner than you would otherwise be expected to get it or know it or be exposed to it. So just take it, it's like an appetizer. Don't stress about not getting the whole sequence. If you are a beginner student and you've got most of this sequence, or at least have seen it, you are so far ahead of the curve already. So don't panic, okay? Students get frustrated a lot with, I didn't get the whole sequence. Intermediate, advanced, whatever, doesn't matter. But what we always like to remind you of is by making these corrections and getting these detailed feedback, everything that you do with Tai Chi is going to be getting better with better understanding because of one or two moves with flute or any other technique. All right, let's pick it up and do the last pass up through the close. We'll go nice and slow. And I'd like for you to remember that we talked about those bamboo steps, how the power is generated from that back leg without hopping versus stepping catch up. It's not this, right? It's load up that back leg. Okay? So that's 1, 2, waist. Turn your waist, strike from your waist, okay? And then I'll talk you through the closing move, because I know that's still fresh and new and it's weird and it turns directions and yeah. Okay, so let's start. We've done our turn and strike, so we've got our left foot forward, left hand by our sash, right hand out in front, and you're gonna choke up, switch hands, and get started here. Okay, everyone with me? And strike high. Look at my waist. Strike high. Strike low. Look at my waist. Low. Waist. High. High. Low. Low. Okay. Weight on the front foot. Remember, you're going to start thinking about this end of the stick and down. Turn it over. Push off this left foot and act like you're hitting something with this short staff behind you. And go. Turn, step, together. That really is impossible to slow down, so try not to freak out too much. Like, oh, I can't slow. You can't. You really can't. You just kind of have to think about the right things and let it go. All right? Now let's do that closing bit one more time, not the whole pass. Just we've done our last strike here. Remember, focus becomes here, down. Turn it over, focus is still here. I am going to push off here, turn on this foot, and this is going to help me get around. And go. And then step with that left foot. Step together, so you're here. You're going to change hands, so now it's in the left hand. As you step back, it circles down, around, back. Do that 2 more times together. So we've done our last strike. Down, over, push off, turn. Step, together, switch hands. Again. Down. Over. Go. Let's see how to. Trying to think about it. How to finish that. I guess here. Okay. Just watch this time because it's going to come at you and it's going to mess with your mirror neurons, so don't do it. All right, so. Okay, one more time so you can see it from what you don't get to see while I'm facing that way. Whoop. Sticky floor. One more time. you can stop that, pause that, freeze that. You can do all kinds of stuff with that to help you with your home practice. But head instructor Durkin's #1 rule is don't stress out about it. Just play with it. Play, 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 play. Don't get frustrated because you will get it. You will. It's impossible to think that you won't get it. So, and a tip that helped me, that Master Gohring shares in his classes for us through the years, is an amazing thing will happen if you just commit to getting it. Just decide, I'm going to get this. Because it's so easy. Like, I'm never going to get that. I don't understand that. I can't do that. If you just commit to getting it, it's not a guarantee of when you'll get it, but you will get it. I use that for myself all the time because I can be the queen of, I will never understand what did you just do? And then I just tell myself, Durkin, commit to getting it. And it always works. So I will share that tip with you. That's something that Grandmaster Gohring has passed down to me, and it works. So just commit to getting it, and by golly, you will. Let's run it one more time, possibly 2 more times from the top. And your only assignment for this one is just to do it. Don't think about it. Just have fun with it. All right. And begin. Yes, I know I'm going faster by design. Yeah? All right, bonus round. Let's do it one more time. Okay? Then we'll bow out. Begin. Wobble on the dismount there. See, happens to us too. All right, so we have one more class for sure on flute. Between now and Thursday, please go ahead and send us, text us, Facebook us any last minute questions that you have about flute, and I will do my best to address them next class. You also have classes this evening if you like with Senior Head Instructor Fig tonight and Thursday. So there are 3 more opportunities to get some instruction on this weapon. And again, they're all recorded, so you'll have those for you going forward. And with that, let's go ahead and bow out of Master's Path Training. Good job, everyone. Master's Path Training is dismissed. Good job, everybody. We'll see you in class. Okay, 5 people, I'm not being rude, but I am going to turn this off. So we'll see you. Bye-bye.